I met a gypsy.
Cheers, mate. Hey, how we doing? How are you?
Hunter, we'll start with you, mate. Jet obviously got to experience Marvel Stadium in 2019 when he raced here, but this is your first time in this stadium. I think a lot of people maybe have the conception that Australia is like a very small country with small stadiums and small tracks, but after being in the US for so long and then stepping into this stadium, I mean, how does this compare compared to what you've raced in the US?
Yeah, it's awesome. This stadium's unreal. It's huge, you know. It's bigger than some of the stadiums we race in over in the States, so it's cool. Shane was saying how he was so surprised, like, oh, you know, the Australians take pride in everything they do and everything's done so proper and stuff. I'm like, yeah, mate, we're competent people, trust us. So it is cool, man, it is cool. And even, you know, 2 weeks ago in Paris, that stadium's unreal as well. It just shows the potential of what, you know, we can do for the sport in every little corner of the world. So yeah, it's unreal. First time here and just so stoked to be home.
I'm stoked to have you back. I want to go to Cloudy at the end there, mate. You're the sole Aussie, like, I guess, how would you say, like, you're the guy that's racing in Australia full time. Everyone up there are, I guess, international racers at this point. So for your perspective, how much has this series grown this year? And are you excited for the future with what you've seen from the Australian Supercross series this year? I think the boys being here kind of puts a big spotlight on this event, but we're still racing for an Australian championship. So your thoughts on the series going forward?
Yeah, it's grown heaps. I mean, look at the guys that are sitting next to me at the moment. Like, you can't get much bigger than that in the sport of Supercross worldwide. So to have these guys here racing, you know, in Australia, it's, you know, it just shows the growth of the sport. And, you know, like we were talking about before, you know, we went and rode, just the potential that this series has. I'm excited to be a part of it, stoked to be racing these guys, and yeah, looking forward to tomorrow night.
This one's to either of you boys, Jet or Hunter as well. Obviously, it's been a while since you've been back here. Coming back home, does it kind of make you realize or be proud of what you've truly accomplished since you left? I know, Jet, we spoke yesterday, it was like a laundry list of accomplishments. I mean, I spoke for like 30 minutes just about all the championships and races you've won. So I guess for you first, Jet, is it obviously fun to come home, but to kind of put things into perspective, just how much you've accomplished just in the last 5 years?
No, for sure. It's really cool when you're kind of listing them out. It's cool to hear when you think it doesn't registers the same, you know. So it's really cool, especially since the last time I was here, I was just starting my professional career and had no wins, no nothing to my name. I'm pretty sure last time what I said, I was like, I would love to get a few wins, few race wins, and now we got a whole tally of championships. So it's definitely cool. I'm very grateful for that. And no, I think it's also just a cool feeling to come back, just to kind of help the younger kids nowadays. Like, hey, it's possible, even though it might not seem like there's a path for you or anything. Like, as long as you stay committed and just stay disciplined and keep working hard, I mean, anything's possible. We never thought we'd get to this stage. So I think also it's cool to come back and have all those titles for the kids, you know, just to realize like what is possible for us.
Just a couple more for me. Cooper Webb, I find it interesting that the first time you came over here to Aus X Open, you were battling a guy named Chad Reed, Australian legend, two-time champ in America. Now roles are reversed. You're almost 30 years old. You're the two-time champ. You're fending off the kids to the left. Pretty cool, huh? But amazing how fast time goes.
Yeah, it is, man. It's like you said, I was 18 my first time here when we raced in Sydney, racing Chad, and he was the legend like he is, and two-time champ. And yeah, it's almost 8 years later, kind of the roles are reversed, and we got the new Australian legends themselves. So it's great to be back. Always enjoy coming to Australia. Always enjoy racing here, and to be able to race, you know, truly some of the best Australians ever produced is really cool, and grateful for the opportunity, and looking forward to having a great weekend.
Dino, this one's for you, brother. This year, back in Australia, obviously you're the defending champ from last year, but I just want to get a sense of your take. Like, you've raced Supercross all over the world. Like, you're in Brazil, you've been obviously like the stuff in Europe that you've done, and then the AMA stuff. So just where this series kind of ranks in terms of I guess, like the global picture of racing Supercross. And do you think that Australia is slowly becoming maybe like the second best country in the world for Supercross in terms of like a domestic series?
Yeah, for sure. I noticed this year they really put in a big effort. Everything just looked a lot better, bigger, a lot more fans, and they've done a really great job this year. And I think every year it's just going to get better. They've invested more, and it's been a really good series. And really cool venues as well. I thought Wollongong was really cool. The stadium's right on the water. And yeah, I think, like I've told Callie, they've done a great job. And the whole Aus Supercross crew, it's definitely like, you can tell they're making a big effort. And, it's just, they're always trying to get better, which is really cool. Something as simple as, we had the cardboard tough blocks at the beginning, which I love those because when you hit them, they just kind of diminish and you're pretty safe. But then they're kind of experimenting with tough blocks to make it better. So something even as small as that, over-under structures and just everything. They've done a great job. Huh? Nets that saved Joey.
Yeah, the Nets, dude. I'm here for it.
Yeah, he did a wall ride. So honestly, it's been awesome. But if I'm talking to any other American, it's terrible, so they don't come here.
And then Wollongong too, they had basically like a collab with Volkanovski. Obviously, you're a big UFC fan. How was the experience of like, I guess I personally think it's rad to have those two kind of cultures and worlds come together.
Oh, I totally agree. And Volk was just like such a good human being. Like we just had a chat for like 10 minutes. And I'm like an actual deep UFC fan, as you know, so I was just like super fanning, like talking about his old fights, this and that. So he was just a really cool guy, nice, normal human being, and that was really cool. And I think he's coming this weekend too. And it's pretty cool he's coming this. Is he coming this weekend?
Yes.
Okay, so he is coming this weekend, and I think that's cool because I think he's got a fight. He's prepping for a fight, so that's huge, and that also brings more fans into the sport. As well as I'll add having Adelaide on the roster as well, bringing all those V8 supercar, fans. They're just at the race already, so then the Supercross is right there. Then they've never seen it before, so I thought that was really cool as well. So they're definitely leaving no stone unturned, and they're trying, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I think it was 250,000 fans over the weekend that were at the V8 Supercar race that actually ended up getting exposed to Supercross.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So, and then also TV package is really good too. So, no, it's all, they're all going in the right direction for sure.
And then Joey, just for you, mate, I would consider you one of the top tier Supercross riders in the world on a 450. I think kind of unlucky the way that things have gone in terms of rides over there, but in terms of just flat out speed and ability on a dirt bike, I think you're one of the world's best. And being at that level and being around the domestic guys like Cloudy, there's a bunch of other Aussie dudes that are riding really well. What's your take on the general level? And you've spent a lot of time in Australia over the years as well. So I guess Dean talking about the series getting better as a whole, but from your perspective on the riders as well, like have you seen an improvement in our guys domestically?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the kind words. But I think as the series, like Dean said, continues to grow and the effort is growing, the resources also grow. So, these guys there's more and more tracks popping up, being able to ride. Kids are starting at a younger age. Like I look on Instagram and I see these kids on 80s that have it looks like Baker's factory in their backyard, So it's cool to see that because that's kind of how it was in the States for a while with training facilities, I remember getting on a Supercross track when I was on an 80 and, at the time it felt like maybe it was a bit much, but it only helps you later on down the road. And, Cloudy stepped it up a lot, to be honest. It's obviously coming into it, you never really know what to expect, but from raw speed, between him and Dean, it's super pole and qualifying. It's always one of those two usually knocking me off the top. And so it's for me, it's cool to see that it is growing more outside of just the States, and the level definitely, I would say, even from watching it, back in the day when Gavin Faith was here in 2015-ish, the level itself looks like it's grown. the ability of the riders has improved and increased, and the tracks, like Dean said, have gotten bigger, and there's a little bit more consequences to making mistakes, and I think all of that is good because it forces the rider to make smart decisions. And sometimes I think when the tracks are too mellow, you can get away with too much, and then when you get thrown into a real supercross, that's where you see more mistakes made. So they've been making strides in the right direction, and it's cool to see the environment as a whole continue to elevate on all the little levels, like Dean said, stuff that you don't really think about. But for the riders, we see it and can nod our head and appreciate that kind of stuff.
I have an announcement.
Uh-oh.
Everyone's seen what happened last weekend with me, so I took it into my own hands to hire security for the weekend. Tate, can you come up here?
Yeah, honestly.
Alright, so if anyone's got problems with me, they're dealing with Tate, alright? That's who you go through. Don't talk to me. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
I'm just a bit curious how the vibe's been in the truck. I've heard some rumblings. I mean, I'm kind of far away these days, and I've been hearing rumblings of the truck. So the management of the vibe, how does it take the mind off the racing, or does it zone you into the racing? But just interested. One of the T-boys. I've heard it's been a wild season.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely done a little bit of both. Like you said, it's. I mean, we all want to win, and I think that's really kind of where it's came from. So, when we're one of the biggest teams in Australia. I mean, and that's where it's like I didn't really think about it coming in. I didn't know how many people were on the team when I got over here, and then they started naming off guys, and I'm like, okay. Like they keep naming them, and it's like we literally have 9 guys on our team, and I'm like, so. How many people are in the 250 class? And they're like, yeah, 5. I'm like, okay. Because when Cole and I were joking about it before the season, we didn't know that either one of us were coming. And then once we knew that we were coming, I only knew that it was going to be him and I. So then we get over here, and then there's 3 other kids. So it's, it's definitely been different. It's been, at the end of the day, we show up to the track and we have a job to do. So it's definitely been tough to manage that at times, but it's like, hey, we gotta push this stuff aside.
Anyone else?
It's been alright. Your Eve sort of sorts us out, I guess. I think we're all good now. Adelaide, we all raced each other pretty clean, so I think it's all sweet.
And is there an element of, I guess, this is your place, like this is where you kind of do business. So everyone in motorsports wants to be the best rider on the team, but is there even like a bit of an added part of it for you where you really are kind of trying to stand your ground in terms of like this is the place where you do business all year?
A little bit, I guess. Your Eve flies some Americans over, so obviously you want to beat them just to show your Eve, I guess, a little bit. But no, it's cool. It's awesome having these 2 guys here, and I've been learning a lot off them.
Brody's not afraid to throw some elbows.
Cole, what's your perspective on all of it?
Yeah, no, it's been good. I think everything's good moving forward. I don't want to say too much, but it's been good. I feel like I'm a bit of the center in why maybe some of the controversy came up online, so it's been good.
Jeremy, you've got Coop racing this weekend, obviously, and I think it's pretty impressive to see where he was at GYPSY this year compared to last year. Like, obviously, that was basically his first foray on the bike. I think he's come a long way. This is your first time here. Coop loves this event. I think he's just kind of dealt with these people and kind of knows what to expect. But this is your first time here, and your first time seeing how big the floor is, the dirt, the way that this event's run. Hayden expressed interest in racing this event. Are you kind of looking at this now as like, hey, maybe this is something that we can use as like a real test before Anaheim? Because GYPSY's obviously a great event, but it seems like more about a show than a real supercross kind of test. So I guess just first impressions of this, and could this be something that maybe you guys will invest in as an A1 lead-up race?
Yeah, I think for sure that's why I'm here. That's why I've gone to a lot of these off-season races this year, to see what we can do. Obviously, I joke about it to some people that to keep them going is a huge asset to us. I think it's no secret in the past if Eli usually takes 3-4 rounds to get going, and now we keep him racing. And same thing with Cooper. It's one of those things where you want to, it's good to have an off season and take some time off, but for some guys, taking a break can really be almost like a restart period. So to keep these guys racing is huge for us. So yes, absolutely. I think we'll see tomorrow when I get to actually see how it works out, how it's ran over here. It's a big thing for me to be here to see that and to bring more riders over next year.
Reeve, just a quick one for you. You've gone for your 7th championship in around the 450 class, but it's been with all American riders. Obviously, Australian team, Australian series. Is there a part of you that really hopes to develop an Australian rider that can win this title? And is there any conflict? I mean, obviously, you guys get paid to win, so it's you need to bring the rider that can win, but is there any internal conflict of winning all of these Australian titles with American riders?
I don't feel any conflict. I have a responsibility to deliver great results, and I'm certainly not going to discriminate against anyone because of where they're from. I mean, I'd hate to see that happen anywhere around the world. Then we wouldn't see the Lawrences doing what they're doing, or Reedy, McFarlane, Metcalf, Burner. So, I want to open doors. I want to help elevate the sport. I'd like to think bringing the level of competition we've brought to Australia has lifted the level of competition in Australia. I saw when we took Luke Clout over to America, it was really successful. I wish he had stayed. I mean, he was running top 5. Brodie Conley's getting an opportunity that he never would have had, and in all honesty, wouldn't be able to afford. He couldn't afford as a privateer to go to America for 3 or 4 months. So we've brought the best riders here, and now he's going to feel confident about going over. So would I like to see an Australian rider win an Australian championship? Again, that'd be racial for me to suggest that. I just want to see the best riders win. Do I enjoy seeing Brodie succeed? Anyone that was at Adelaide would have seen the elation in the team when Brodie and Alex Larwood did well. That was special to me, but I feel they did well because the competition had lifted. Would they have brought the same intensity if the Americans weren't here? I don't know. I haven't seen Alex Larwood start like that in 5 years. So he knew what he needed to do, and he's really worked hard at it. Whoever wins, wins, and honestly, I don't mind where they're born.
Great points.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.